United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is our March 14th, 2017 meeting, Smith Station, Alabama. Thank you so much to the Boy Scouts for coming tonight and doing our Pledge of Allegiance for us. We appreciate you. At this point in time, I'll ask Mr. Johnson to have a roll call.
Councilmember Stringer. Here. Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Moody. Absent. Councilmember Cooley.
Here.
Councilmember Key.
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. Thank you. We have 4 of the 5 council members here. Thank you so much for your time and committing it to the citizens of Smith Station. At this point in time, I'm going to ask that we discuss the minutes for the February 28, 2017 minutes, 2017 meeting that you had emailed to you. They will not be read. However, you have them emailed. You have them from last time, have them in front of you. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept these minutes without any errors, unless you see one.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Cooley. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Key. Thank you so much. At this point in time, I'm going to ask someone if they will suspend the rules.
Mayor Copeland, I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules for ordinances 2017-128, 2017-129, resolution 2017-252.1, 2017-259.
Mr. Johnson, he's made a motion that we suspend the rules for ordinances 2017-128, 2017-129, 2017-252, and 2017-259. Can I hear a second?
Second that.
Seconded by Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Stringer.
Stringer. They got on top of each other. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Moody. Absent. Councilmember Cooley.
Yes.
Councilmember Key.
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. With those rules being suspended, I am going to ask that we introduced ordinance 2017-128 to adopt Title 13. Mr. Johnson, will you introduce that, please?
Ordinance 2017-128. An ordinance of the City of Smith Station, Alabama to adopt Title 13 Criminal Code of Alabama 1975 as amended. Shall I go ahead and read the entire ordinance since we suspended the rules on this?
Let's make a motion to second, and then you read it, and then we'll have a discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Keith, seconded by, have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Stringer. Let's read it now, and then have a discussion on it, please.
Whereas the City of Smith Station, Alabama has an obligation to the citizens to enforce general police powers and to maintain the health and cleanliness of the city. And whereas it is the responsibility of the city to establish enforceable ordinances and regulations. And whereas the city advocates consistency of its ordinances with the state of Alabama. Now therefore be it ordained and ordered by the City Council of the City of Smith Station, Alabama as follows. That the City Council of the City of Smith Station, Alabama does hereby adopt Title 11, Chapter 47, Article 5, and Article 4 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended. All ordinances or parts of ordinances heretofore adopted by the City Council of the City of Smith Station, Alabama that are inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed.
Now shall we open up this for discussion, ordinance 2017-128. I'd like to say to the council that we're adopting the whole, adopt the whole criminal code in an effort to help us to enforce our ordinances and regulations. This will add a little more levity or teeth to what we're trying to do to enforce and clean up our city. With no other discussion, I call for the vote.
Councilmember Cooley.
Yes.
Councilmember Key.
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes.
Councilmember Moody. Absent. Mayor Copeland.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Come on in.
There's plenty of seats, gentlemen.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Item number 7, I would like Mr. Stringer to introduce item number 7, please.
Item number 7, recommended to the City Council. The Parks and Recreation Committee met on March 7, 2017 to discuss A, hiring a full-time park and recreation director. B, requiring vendors permit for the Lee County Park at Smith Station. And that's C, orders 2017-129. C, correcting clerical errors in resolution 2017-252, resolution 217-252-1. Amend and correct all errors. The Parks and Recreation Committee recommended to the City Council to approve and adopt orders 2017-129 and resolution 2017-2521.
Thank you, Mr. Stringer. I am going to ask for a, do we need to do a first reading on item A, Mr. Johnston? Or do we need to go ahead?
Mr. Mayor, we need a second on this recommendation that we approve and adopt.
Can we have a second on this? Second. Seconded by Mr. Key. With that being said, do we have a first reading on item A, or do we go ahead and follow through with it?
That's for the council to decide. We do not have to publicly read this
All right,
since the job is going to be posted.
I'm going to ask the council members if they will adopt items A, B, and C of 2017-129, the Parks and Recreation Committee's ordinances and suggestions. There's a first and a second. We'll open it up for discussion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Mr. Cooley. Seconded by Mr. Key. This will include A, hiring a full-time Parks and Recreation Director. B, requiring vendor permits for the Lee County Park at Smith Station for those that are planning on selling items at the park. And C, correcting a clerical error in Resolution 2017-252. Resolution 2017-252.1 amends and corrects the error. Call for the vote.
Councilmember Jackson?
Are there any questions before we vote on this?
I asked that, nobody said anything.
Did we ask it? No, I didn't catch it then.
Okay, well, please,
Sure, it's
open up for discussion.
Okay. Item B, my question is requiring vendor's permit for the Lee County Bar to come on to our facility to sell. That's basically what that means to me.
Right.
Now, I guess the question I have, if I had an ice cream truck and I want to sell on that property, can anybody drive up there?
No.
After, just come here and get a permit?
No, sir. The protocol is going to be the way that it was written as follows. First of all, the said vendor has to get a business license from the city of Smith Station.
Okay.
If it involves the selling of food, then that protocol leads back to the county to get a food license, and they'll be regulated as a food vendor. Once they get that, then they come get a business license from the city. They're also going to be required at that point in time, once a month. The permits are good for 30-day period, no more than 30 days. After the 30-day period, they're going to be required to report back to the city their gross sales. They'll have to sign an affidavit swearing to this. If it is falsified, they will be prosecuted for fraud. And of the gross sales, 10% will be going back to the city to help underwrite the expenses at the park.
Okay. And that's where I was going to with my next question, and you sort of explained it to me because of, past things that basically happened in the past. I don't think we need to go back through doing that again. But also, someone just driving up, and I drive through that park occasionally, and I look and I see, people out selling stuff, and I think sometimes another they're using the park to benefit completely, and I can understand that might be their living. but the city also should benefit something from this.
No doubt, no doubt. And I canvassed several other cities. Some cities require a larger, they require a permit fee in lieu of a 10%. According to the Parks and Rec Committee, we decided on 10% due to the fact that, let's just say that some other municipalities are charging a $250 permit fee. Well, that means the guy's got to sell $2,500 worth of ice cream at the park. It might be kind of hard to do in November. But, so we decided that we're going to go with what some of the other cities are doing, require them to get a business license, require them to be in compliance with the state laws if they're selling food.
Right.
Now, if they're setting up a booth out there to sell softballs or gloves, that's something totally different. But the laws are still going to apply. And the way the ordinance is written, and I ran this by our council, is our teeth in this is that it's supported by Title 11, Chapter 52, Article 2, which is the business license section of the state code. That's where somebody can be in violation if they don't come in and get a permit from us.
One thing too, we have to look into the future, and that's something that we have not done. We're looking into the future of baseball tournaments, softball tournaments, football tournaments, and you have 4 or 5 vendors out there selling bats and gloves, and you have 2 or 3 food trucks out there. This is looking into the future of what possibly could be. So might as well go ahead and set the precedent now for when that does happen, because last year they had a football tournament, that raised an exorbitant fee. So it won't happen this year. They had a couple of vendors out there. This year they got to come get this permit that we're going to approve tonight. Anybody have any more discussion? Anybody
Did
have
I
any
answer your
discussion?
question, Mr. Jackson?
Yeah.
Good.
More so than anything.
Okay.
Anybody have any discussion?
It is as clear as mud, all right? We all right? Okay.
Well, if you have any more questions, you know where I am.
Yes. I call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Let me turn the page, get to the right sheet. Sorry about that. Councilmember Key,
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Moody, absent. Councilmember Cooley,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. All right, moving along to item number 10, since we just approved item 2017-252-1. Do we need to go ahead and approve that too? Since we included that in there. Do you
Oh,
want-
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the resolutions and ordinances
Okay.
they have to be passed.
Okay, well, I'm asking that you guys will first, second, approve 2017-252-1, amend resolution 217-252. Can I hear a second, first and second, please?
You want me to introduce it, Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Resolution 2017-252.1. A resolution for the city of Smith Station, Alabama to amend the registration and league fees for usage of the Lee County Park at Smith Station.
That being said, can I have a first and a second? Make a motion to accept this?
Mayor Copeland, I'll put a motion on resolution 2017-252.1 to be voted on for approval.
There, a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Key. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Stringer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Moody, absent. Councilmember Cooley,
Yes.
Councilmember Key,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. At this point in time, I'm going to call on Mr. Cooley.
Recommendation to the city council. The finance committee met on March 7, 2017 to discuss A, the paving of the parking lots and surrounding areas at City Hall. Quotes were submitted from 2 companies. Quotes from Phoenix Grading and Asphalt was the lowest qualified quote of $38,594.90. Item B, hiring 2 high school students as interns for the city of Smith Station. The finance committee recommends that the city council approve all of the above listed recommendations effective immediately or as the Code of Alabama 1975 requires.
Okay, guys, you've heard Mr. Cooley introduce recommendations from the Finance Committee. Let's get a first and second, then we'll open up for discussion. Can I hear
I'll
a
make a motion that we accept the recommendation coming from the Finance Committee.
motion by Mr. Stringer? Can I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Cooley. Open up for discussion. I'd like to discuss it first. Item A is the paving of the parking lot and surrounding areas at City Hall. I'd like the public to know that we are bad need for our parking lot to be repaved. Had several incidences. We have some water issues. So we have put out several bids, and Phoenix Grading and Asphalt come back as the lowest bid. Secondly, hiring 2 interns, high school interns for the city of Smith Station. It is my will as the mayor to hire 2 people, one from our high school here in Smith Station and one from our private school in Smith Station. And they'll work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday one, and Tuesday, Thursday the other. So those people will work from April till August and learn about city government as well as fulfilling some of the obligations that we need help with, filing, et cetera, et cetera. We're planning on sending out an email with a flyer tomorrow. And when we approve this to the schools, we should start receiving applications in the mail, and we're going to leave it open till the end of the last week in March to accept applications. So with that being said, does anybody have any discussion on either one of those items? With no discussion being made, I'm going to ask that we approve the recommendations, and I'm going to ask that we vote on the resolution 2017-259. Is that okay with you, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, we need to have a call for the vote on the recommendation from.
Yes, once we have a call for the vote. All right, can we call for the vote on the resolution?
On the recommendation from
Recommendations,
Finance.
yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Moody is absent, Councilmember Cooley,
Yes.
Councilmember Key,
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. Mr. Cooley, will you introduce resolution 2017-259, please?
Resolution for the city of Smith Station, Alabama to enter into a contract with Phoenix Paving and Grading and Paving for the construction of new asphalt pavement overlays at Smith Station City Hall.
With that being said, can I hear somebody make a motion to accept this?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Key, can I hear a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Jackson. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Moody, absent, Councilmember Cooley,
Yes.
Councilmember Key,
Yes.
Councilmember Stringer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Mayor Copeland.
Yes. At this point in time, we are done with our official city business. We will now open up our time for any public comments that you may have. Young men and young women, if you have anything that you would like to discuss, if you'll please go to the podium and address the council or address the mayor, however you'd like to. Ms. Fangler, please introduce yourself so people know who you are.
Hi, I'm Alice Spangler, and I just thought of one new thing to ask when you're talking about the vendor permits. Will that include any kind of background check on those vendors? Or does it usually, is that something that's usually?
It's not normal, it's not protocol, but if they have a food license and they have a business license and other businesses, they'll be a reputable business. I mean, we won't allow people out there selling drugs and such as that.
Okay.
And Ms. Spangler, also, at some point in time, you're welcome to see the disclaimer on the permit application, but I'll go ahead and tell you right now what it says. There's a disclaimer at the bottom that says, I, the applicant, certify that all the above facts are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, and I acknowledge that the city of Smith Station, Alabama has sole discretion and final approval authority on any and all applications. I understand that any approvals granted pursuant to this application shall be subject to all applicable regulations of the city of Smith Station. So they have the power to say yay or nay.
Okay.
If they don't like your hair color, they can say no. If you need a tic tac, they can say no.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And my other question is, has the city or the mayor, are you planning or have you thought about having a address to the city at any time to have us updated?
Elaborate for me?
A city.
State of the city?
A state of the
Yes,
city address.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That is, I'm fully planning on doing that, but being 5 months old, I'd like to get my feet a little more wet before I do that, because right now I'll be telling you what we've done in 5 months, which is a lot. But I plan on doing it sometime towards the heat of the summer, maybe July or August.
Okay, and I just didn't know if that, you know, I know you've only been here 5 months, but the council's been here, so I didn't know if that included anything they've done in the past, because
Yeah.
I would
I
like
don't
to
think
know
that-
what the committees have been doing, and,
I challenge you to call them personally, if you'd like to know that.
Okay.
And the chairmans of those committee are Rick Cooley, Finance, Morris Jackson, Environmental, George Stringer, Parks and Recreation, and Morris Jackson, Utilities.
is that part of the state of the address? When you,
I
to give a
will,
report
I will
on-
address, when we do the state of the city, I'll address it. They'll be here, and when it's open for discussion, constituent can feel free to ask them, but I'll be the one that'll mostly make the speech
Right,
as executive branch.
right. Okay. thank
Also,
you.
when are we gonna do the fundraiser for the dog?
I'll get back to you on that.
All right, let me know, let me know. All right.
All right, thank you.
At this point in time, I'd like to recognize the media. Ms. Lowe, thank you so much for coming from the Citizen. Also, Josh from the Citizen, or the Cable TV of East Alabama. I thank you so much for being here. Also, thank you, Boy Scouts. I'm going to give you one more opportunity. If you would like to ask any questions, anybody, any kids, don't be shy. Just make sure you come up and address us here at the...
If our troop wanted to sell, like, for a fundraiser for our troop, if we wanted to sell, like, maybe hamburgers or hot dogs at the state park, would we have to go get a permit and pay that 10% to the city for selling those?
That's a very valuable question, son. Thank you so much. If it was a nonprofit, we would probably come back to the council and ask them for a leniency in that, or what else would you say? Ask them to not charge that due to y'all being a nonprofit, raising money for that. We would probably do that on that basis.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Case by case basis. Anyone else? I would like to make one last announcement to the media as well as everyone here. We have a deputy sheriff that's in our city that is raising money for a K-9. And the K-9 that he is trying to raise money for is a drug dog. There's bomb dogs and drug dogs. His K-9 will be the kind that will chase you down, but also smell drugs. So if you would like to make a donation, we're taking donations at City Hall. The dog is going to cost $20,000. Whereas he's well on the way of doing that. He's right at now, I think, about 6,000 or 7,000. But it's going to take us. This will make the city of Smith Station better. So if you'd like to donate, we take donations here that are going towards that. That will be earmarked for that. Also, we're going to try to have some kind of fundraiser for him for that. We may try to include Troop 98 in helping us with that. So without any further ado, I ask that we make a motion to be adjourned.
Mayor Copeland, offer a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Make a motion by Mr. Jackson, seconded. Second by Mr. Cooley. Meeting adjourned.